All right, welcome. Today, we're jumping into a topic that sounds super straightforward, but is actually anything but. We're talking about heart failure, and you're about to see why it's so much more than just a pump that's gone bad. So let's just get right to the big idea here. I want you to think about this. What if heart failure isn't really a story about the heart at all? What if it's actually about how the rest of the body goes haywire trying to deal with a struggling heart? That's the key we're going to unlock today. And this is why it's so important to get this right. We're talking about more than 64 million people around the world. It's a massive, massive health issue, and one of the top reasons people, especially older adults, end up in the hospital. So understanding what's really going on is absolutely crucial. Okay, so what is the official definition? Well, it's called a complex clinical syndrome. But the most important word on this whole slide is that little word or. See, it means one of two things is happening. Either the heart just can't pump enough blood for what the body needs, or, and this is key, it can, but only by cranking up the pressure inside to dangerous levels. So it's not just about a weak pump. This brings us to the real heart of the matter. No pun intended. We're talking about the body's own vicious cycle. It's this situation where the body's own defense mechanisms, the things that are supposed to save you, end up becoming the very thing that drives the disease forward. Let me put it another way. The real story here is about the body's emergency alarms getting stuck in the on position. Think of a fire alarm that just keeps blaring and blaring long after the fire's been put out. Eventually, the alarm itself becomes the crisis, right? That's what's happening here. And here's what that cycle looks like. So it all starts when the heart's output dips for whatever reason. The body immediately senses this and sounds the alarms. We're talking about the sympathetic nervous system, the SNS, and this other one called the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, or RAAS. These alarms scream at the body to raise blood pressure and hang on to every drop of fluid. The problem? All that extra pressure and fluid just adds more and more strain back on the heart, which makes it even weaker, and boom, you're right back at step one, but in a worse spot than before. It's this incredible paradox when you look at it. The body is genuinely trying to help. The short-term goal is awesome, maintain blood pressure so you don't pass out, but the long-term harm is devastating. It actually damages the heart muscle. It tries to speed up the heart rate to keep up, but that can lead to dangerous arrhythmias. It holds onto fluid to make sure there's enough volume, but that just ends up drowning the already struggling pump. A truly well-intentioned mistake. So, with all this strain, how does the heart actually, fail? Well, it turns out there's more than one way this can go down, which brings us to the two main faces of heart failure. And this is such a critical distinction. On one hand, you've got HFrEF, that's heart failure with reduced ejection fraction. This is what most people think of, a pumping problem. The heart is too weak to squeeze hard enough. But then you have HFpEF, heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. Here, the squeeze might be fine, but the problem is filling. The heart muscle has gotten thick and stiff, so it can't relax and fill up with blood properly before it pumps. Two very different problems. And it also matters which side of the heart is struggling. If it's the left side, the pump that sends blood to the body, then fluid backs up where it just came from, the lungs. That's why people get short of breath. But if it's the right side, the pump that sends blood to the lungs, then fluid backs up in the rest of the body. You see it as swollen legs, a swollen belly. And here's a little tidbit. The most common reason for right-sided failure is left-sided failure. It's a chain reaction. Okay, so with all these different types and symptoms, how do doctors even begin to figure out what's going on? Well, it's kind of like being a detective, piecing together all the clues from different warning signs. The number one most important tool in the box is the echocardiogram. It's basically an ultrasound of the heart. It lets doctors physically watch the heart beating, measure that ejection fraction, and figure out if it's a pumping problem or a filling problem. Then you have other clues, like a blood test for something called BNP, that's a hormone the heart releases when it's under stress, an ECG to look at the electrical signals, and a simple chest X-ray to see if there's fluid in the lungs. Now, once a diagnosis is made, doctors need to know how severe it is. The NYHA class is really all about how you feel. It's a simple scale that measures how your symptoms affect your daily life. Class 1, you feel totally fine doing normal stuff. Class 4, you're getting symptoms even just sitting on the couch. It's a snapshot of your life right now. But then there's this other system, the ACC/AHA stages. And this one is about the bigger picture, the whole journey of the disease. You can be at stage A, which just means you're at risk, all the way to stage D, which is very advanced heart failure. And here's the difference. While your NYHA class can get better or worse, with these stages, you can never go backward. It tracks the progression of the underlying heart problem. So this leads to the most important question of all. If this whole thing is driven by a vicious cycle, how do you stop it? This is where modern medicine has made incredible strides. We fight back by going right after that cycle and breaking it. For the pumping problem, that HF-REF type, treatment now stands on 4 cornerstone pillars of medication. And these drugs aren't just about making you feel better. Each one of these classes is designed to block a specific part of that crazy, overactive neurohormonal alarm system we talked about earlier. They basically tell the body, hey, stand down, calm down, and that gives the heart the break it so desperately needs to rest, recover, and hopefully break that cycle of damage. And that really brings us to the single most important thing to take away from all of this. If you remember just one thing, make it this. Heart failure is a neurohormonal disorder, not just pump failure. It's the body's response getting stuck in overdrive that causes the real, progressive damage. And by finally understanding that, by seeing the whole picture, we found amazing ways to step in and rewrite the story for millions of people. Thanks so much for tuning in.